Hello, Buddhas. Today we're going to be talking about something that has, something that's always interested me, and that is puzzles and something like a Rubik's Cube that you can learn to solve with your mind. Now, the title of this is not entirely clickbait, but it's just a little bit clickbait because in 9th grade I learned how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and it's something that I have had with me my entire life. And every day I go back and I have flashbacks or memories, and then what I've been doing lately is trying to quantify those memories or flashbacks. Okay, and I just stumbled across some Rubik's Cube stuff on YouTube, and I thought to myself, oh yeah, I know how to do that. And how is it that I learned how to do that? Now, I followed instructions, I used some of my own intuition and some practice, but more importantly, inadvertently at the time especially, I used the law of attraction and I used manifestation to learn how to solve the Rubik's Cube. Let me explain. I saw myself as someone who could solve a Rubik's Cube. That's it. Yes, I followed steps, I took instructions, and I created results. But I did not in any way ever doubt myself. And I remember it very distinctly. It was during a band trip. I bought one at a store, like in a museum or something we had been visiting. And I was like, I'm gonna solve this, and everyone thought I was freaking crazy. So without further ado, I am not the absolute fastest Rubik's Cube solver. If you are looking for a tutorial video on how to speed cube, this is not it, because my raison d'etre is not to spend hours a day learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube as quickly as possible. But it does come down to some fairly simple principles, and that is applying the right steps in the right order. Now, how do you learn that order? Well, you can go about it a couple different ways. You can read instructions. I don't see anything wrong with that. The absolute greatest minds in the world at different things have read instructions and taken the results from others. So go and help yourself to some instructions, because your subconscious mind is laying them out there for you. You don't have to necessarily figure it out on your own and bash your head against a wall for hours. The second thing is to recognize that a Rubik's Cube is just patterns. Patterns of the blocks in a 3D sphere, right? They're all connected on the inside in some way. So what you have to do is you kind of have to learn to think about the blocks that you can't see a little bit. Once you memorize what you're doing, you don't really need to absolutely know how, but that's part of the magic. And then once you recognize that it's just a series of patterns and that it ultimately has multiple quintillion options, there's one of those quintillion options that's a solved Rubik's Cube. I can go ahead and do this again, and I'm not looking at the cube whatsoever. I'm going to put it behind my head, and I'm going to do this all in one take so that you can see that I am not in any way faking it. And yes, this is the same cube. Okay, Rubik's Cube, eyes closed, a couple more spins, and there we go. All right, and as I was saying, once you know that this is just one pattern, this is a solved Rubik's Cube if that's the state that you consider solved. Think about that for a second. But because we consider the state to be all the faces the same color, we're going to go ahead and do that. I like to start with white because that one sticks out the most, and it puts yellow on the opposite side. And I find that those two colors, to me anyways, are the most similar in the cube, especially these ones. This is not a generic Rubik's Cube. This is, I totally forget where I got this actually. It's kind of a Chinese knockoff, but it's so much smoother than a regular Rubik's Cube. So actually I don't recommend buying a normal Rubik's Cube if you want to play with it. But as I was saying, once you recognize that a Rubik's Cube creates patterns, all you need to do is lock in those patterns in your brain. And how do you lock in a pattern in your brain? Well, you get it wrong a bunch of times until you get it right. And then once you get it right, you just practice it a bunch of times. And then once you've got it practiced, see, I don't have to actually look at every single move I make. Now, I'm not a speed cuber. I'm going to be very clear about that. There are people who can look at a Rubik's Cube, quantify exactly how everything goes together, and then just hammer out the algorithm that's going to work. That, again, it's not me. I'm not interested in doing that, so I had never tried. But once you've memorized, I think it's about half a dozen or so different steps that I take. You can see I'm very close to being done already here. once you know those steps and you know when to apply them, part of the secret there, then you've got it. So like anything in life, all you need to do is accept that there's a challenge in front of you. That challenge is related to some sort of pattern, and I think that this is a good example. And once you know the pattern, you can create the order out of chaos. Order, theoretically chaos, but again, pattern, right? No cube is touching the same color, but they're all in the right spot. So, not that important at the end of the day. What actually matters is using your mind, right? Your connection to understanding source energy, whatever you want to call it, but using your ability and time to practice something is the law of attraction. That's it. I have attracted into my world the ability to fairly quickly and fairly easily, I would say I can get this down in about a minute or so. I don't know if I did it that fast in the video, but I find that to be good enough for me, right? And then I get a solved Rubik's Cube and the results speak for themselves. Find the things in your life that you want to learn how to do, and, hello kitty, practice them. Visualize the completed cube and get yourself the ability to make it happen. I can't solve a Rubik's Cube by laying it on a table and looking at it. Not gonna work, okay? The fun part about the puzzle is it needs the human interaction. That's why we're here. That's why we've got hands. I don't want it to just be a little mind game. That's kind of boring from this reality perspective. So don't take it too seriously. Have fun with it, enjoy it, and don't let the haters tell you can't do the stuff and the things, because I can solve a Rubik's Cube. It's not magic, but you can too. You can go from someone who can't to someone who can. All you have to do is decide that you will, and now it's being taken over by the key. Good boy. Yeah, you like your toys. Yes, you do. Now you're gonna eat me. Before I get mauled by a dangerous animal, I'm gonna call this one. Let me know down below if you guys have ever solved Rubik's Cube. If you've got videos and stuff of that, please post them. Share your experience about how you have solved a Rubik's Cube. It's a fun thing, or any kind of puzzles. I love puzzles. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Like down below, subscribe down below, bell notification down below, and peace.